Very pleased now to bring to you from Shepherdstown, from St. Agnes Catholic Church, Father Andy Switzer. Let's make some noise, y'all! Let's hear good trouble, good trouble, good trouble. I want to show you something I bought in Birmingham, Alabama. It's a mugshot of Dr. Martin Luther King. Good trouble. You know, we have to recognize humbly that we stand on the shoulders of a nonviolent movement of good soul force, of love. Now, let's be reminded by this image. No violence. If we're going to win this battle, we gotta have, as we've heard, that necessary non-violent love that John Lewis and Dr. King taught. Also, when I was in Birmingham, I visited a 16th Baptist church where a bomb murdered 4 little girls that was the hub of the civil rights. So let's honor those names. Addie Mae Collins, 14. Carol Robertson, age 14. Cynthia Wilson, age 14. Denise McNair, age 11. Brothers and sisters, I invite us to a moment of silence to gain the energy of these who gave up everything for that nonviolent love. So I want to do a couple things here. I want to look at the origins of our movement. And pastors here, speakers here recognize this. Rabbis, imams, Buddhist monks. See, we're called to be soul doctors. And so what we need to do together is diagnose the sickness of the soul of America. And you and I are the vaccine, the antibody. So this started 1953, 1973. Pastor James Lawson, who preached at John Lewis's funeral, he said, we got to get our history right. He said, you know what these bold, courageous people did? Starting in 1958, they decided to desegregate Nashville, Tennessee. Names providentially met there, like James Lawson, Kelly Miller, Jeanette Hayes, Bernard Lafayette, the list could go on. And they practiced the 1960s, in this time in Nashville, Gandhi's strategy of nonviolence. You know what John Lewis called what we're about? We're about what was the 1953-73 John Lewis called the nonviolent movement of America. James Lawson named the poisons we're up against at John Lewis's funeral. Here they are, brothers and sisters. Hear them well. Plantation capitalism, sexism, racism, and violence. In the words of Dave Matthews, don't drink at the vaccine. What's the vaccine? You know, I'm disappointed with Christians sometimes, I have to admit. That's nothing new. Dr. King's letter to Birmingham jail. He was disappointed. Read James Cone's The Cross and the Lynching Tree. We didn't get the message of Jesus right all the time. For sure. I mean, think about how sad it is that Christians, churches were full. And they would go to church and pack a lunch to go to a lynching. That ain't the message of Jesus. But we got Dr. King. We got James Lawson. We got the men and women. It was the women, black women, that decided to desegregate Nashville. What courage they had. They're the vaccine, the real deal. And we can call Bloody Sunday, March 7th, 1965. Tear gas, clubs, bullwhips, John Lewis's skull fractured. These are those that stood up for Jesus' nonviolent love. You know, Rabbi Heschel marched with King. He had a great line. He said, "It felt like I was praying on my feet." He also said this: "Indifference to evil is more insidious than evil itself." Now, I'm thinking of an African-American brother priest, Jesuit Father Brian Massengill. He just did a thing on facing fascism and Christian nationalism. I got a good antibiotic. This is what he says. 3.8% of the nation can tip the scales of fascism. 8 million people. That's the vaccine. But I listened to James Lawson's and John Lewis's, some of their last words. We got to do two things. We got to vote, and we got to take to the streets. Don't give in to the despair that doesn't matter. And young people out there that don't want to vote because the system's broke, you say? That's no excuse. You think the system was not broke for John Lewis? They made greater sacrifices than we did. Those who were a part of that. That's the vaccine. We have to fix it. Let me tell you something a wise mentor also told me that's part of the vaccine. I was shocked with what this administration's doing. Well, hear this. Stop being shocked. Authoritarianism wants you and I to be shocked. We have to keep our focus on love and good trouble to bring about change. James Lawson said at John Lewis's funeral, John Lewis practiced the politics of not the politics of partisanship, but the politics of the Declaration of the Independence and the Constitution of the United States. Now, you may know books are being banned. Did you know that the Naval Academy has banned 300 books? And don't forget this, as Father Massengill points out. There is also suppression of religion and religious places. Authoritarianism wants to control the narrative. Brian Maskingill's book, Father Brian's, Racism in the Catholic Church, was one of those books that were banned because it's a faith-basis analysis of white supremacy and racism. You want to know what the antibiotic is? Buy the books. Storm the libraries. Get banned books. You know what else? We got good people in the military that recognize that their oath is to the Constitution. Send them the books. Now I'm going to give you two local examples of how democracy can work, and I see some of them out there. Do you know that local people here and then around here, they fought plantation capitalism. They stopped a local water bottle company to come in here with corporate greed. And you know what they did? They had a letter writing campaign, and they stormed town hall with good trouble. Now, one other example. A Catholic school in our area had a key figure in this administration speak there. People showed up, spoke up, stood up against it. And I get some of this from my mom. Well, my mom works in a Catholic school in Morgantown. You know what she did? She wrote the leaders a letter, and they heard her, because my mom is dangerous with a pen. Good trouble. Now, you may know one of these prominent leaders visited a Nazi concentration camp in Dachau on February 13th. And he supported anti-democratic extreme organizations. Don't forget, Denise Gardiner, a scholar who spent a long time studying Nazi Germany, said, we're in 1933 Germany where it could go either way. And it's up to us to tip the scale. The 3.8. Remember what Dr. King said. The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice. Let's pick it! Now, one last point. First, this is from Nazi Germany. First, they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I didn't speak out. So they came for the trade unionists. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out. So they came for, because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, but there was no one to speak out for me. We have to speak out. LGBTQ, Muslims, Jews, our black brothers and sisters, everyone, we're about a movement. Never forget Dr. King's last speech to corporate greed and sanitation workers. He united the country for justice. Now, like my brothers here, I pay attention to last words of Jesus, last words of Dr. King. John Lewis gets these last words. These are the words. He speaks to us, and we stand on his shoulder. He passed the torch to us to get in good trouble. And so, this is what he wrote, and it was written July 30th, 2020, in a New York Times op-ed. These are his last words that I believe to us. While my time here has come to an end, I want you to know that in the last Need to stand. Hours in the days of my life, you inspired me. You filled me with hope about the next chapter of the American story. When you used power to make a difference in our society. Millions of people motivated simply by human compassion laid down the burdens of division around the world and country. You set aside race, class, age, language, and nationality to demand respect for human dignity. This is why I had to visit Black Lives Matter's Plaza in Washington, though I was admitted to the hospital the following day. And this is what John Lewis says to us. Last words. I had to see and feel it for myself that after many years of silent witness, the truth is still marching on. Emmett Till was my George Floyd. He was my Rayshard Brooks, Chandra Bryn, and Breonna Taylor. He was 14 when he was killed, and I was only 15 years old at the time. I will never, ever forget the moment when it became so clear that he easily could have been me. In those days, fear constrains us like an imaginary prison. And trouble, the thought of potential brutality committed for no understandable reason. If we are to survive as one unified nation, we must readily discover what takes root in our souls and in our hearts that could rob Mother Emanuel Church in South Carolina of her brightest and best, shoot unwitting concert goers in Las Vegas, and to choke to death the hopes and dreams of a gifted violinist like Elijah McClain. Democracy is not a state. It is an act and a generation must do its part to help what's called build the beloved community. A nation, a world, a society at peace with itself. Ordinary people with extraordinary vision can redeem the soul of America by getting into what I call good trouble, necessary trouble. In my life, I have done all I can to demonstrate the way of peace, the way of love, and nonviolence, the more excellent way. Now it is your turn to let freedom ring. So I say to you, walk with the wind, brothers and sisters, and let the spirit of peace and everlasting love